students, in today's class we will study about irrational numbers. We will try to prove that root 2, root 3, root 5 or in general root p is a irrational number. In this exercise we will prove that these numbers are irrational and here this p is your prime number. So, do you remember that 2, 3, 5 all are prime numbers? So, in this exercise, we will prove that if inside the square root, if any number is a prime number, it is an irrational number. And what are irrational numbers? The irrational numbers are all those numbers which you cannot write in p by q form, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0, right? If you cannot write any number in p by q form, then that number is an irrational number. So example of irrational numbers are root 2. Why it is irrational? Because here root 2 is not an integer. Here the definition of rational number is p and q both should be integers. So root 2, root 3, root 4, sorry not root 4, it is a perfect square, it is not a prime number. Root 5 all are irrational. And suppose I write root 3 upon root 2. It is also an irrational number. Then you have to remember that your pi is also an irrational number. Then suppose I write 0.10100110011 and it goes forever. It is not terminating and not repeating decimal expansion. So it is also an irrational number. So students, in this exercise, we will study one theorem. The theorem says that let p be a prime number. Suppose p is a prime number, suppose it is 3. If p divides a square, suppose a square is 9, so 9 is divided by 3. If p divides a square, then p divides a also. So a square is 9, so a will be root of 9, that is 3. So this p will divide your a also. Here a is 3 and p is 3. So 3 upon 3 is 1. So if p is dividing your a square, p will divide a also. So we have to prove this. Okay. So suppose I say that your p is a prime number if your a is, suppose a is any number and its prime factorization is p1 multiplied by p2 up to pn. What is a fundamental theorem of arithmetic? According to fundamental theorem of arithmetic, any number, any composite number can be written as product of prime numbers. So if a is having these many prime numbers, so what is a square? Your a square will be p1 dot p2 dot p3 up to pn, and since it is a square, it will come twice. Okay. So now what we have to prove that if p divides a, okay, so p will divide a square also, right? So if I say that if p divides a square, if p is dividing my a square, so if it completely divides, means one of the prime factorization should be p. Suppose p2 is p, then only it will cancel out. Then only we can say that p divides a square completely, right? So suppose I say that p2 is p. So if p is dividing a square, P will also divide A. P will also divide A, because what I am telling, suppose P2 is P. So this will cancel out. P will also divide A. Fine. So you have to remember this theorem that if P is a prime number and if P divides A square, it will also divide A. Now we will move to exercise 1.3 of NCERT. So now we will start with exercise 1.3. So the first question is, prove that root 5 is an irrational number. So in this type of question, we will always start with one assumption. We will assume that root 5 is rational number. What we have to prove? We have to prove that root 5 is irrational, but we are assuming that root 5 is a rational number. Okay, so if root 5 is a rational number, root 5 I can write it as x upon y. Right? So x and y, here x and y are co-prime. Co-prime means they are not having any common factor. So since it is a rational number, we are assuming it, we can write it in p by q form, where x and y are co-prime. Now what I will do, I will shift my y here. So y root 5 is equal to x. Now squaring both the sides. Y square, root 5 square is 5, is equal to x square. Suppose this is your equation number 1. Now I can write y square is equal to x square upon 5. Now here you have to note one theorem which we have studied, that if p divides a square, p will also divide x. So if p divides x square, p will also divide x. So I will say that my p, that is 5, x is divided by 5. Okay. From theorem 1.3, if 5 divide x square, 5 will also divide x. Suppose x upon 5 is c. Suppose x upon 5 is c. What we are saying here from theorem 1.5, that x is divisible by 5. X is divisible by 5. Fine. So now what I will do, I will say that x is equal to 5c, and I will put this value of x in equation number 1. So here what we can say is y square multiplied by 5 is equal to x square. Value of x is 5c square. So it will be 25, or I can write it as 5 multiplied by 5 c square. 1 5 will cancel out with 1 5. So I can say that y square, and this 5 I will shift to the left side. So y square upon 5 is c square. So here what is happening? Again I will apply theorem 1.3. If 5 divides y square, 5 will also divide y. So it means y is also divisible by 5. Okay, y is also divisible by 5 from theorem 1.3. If p divides y square, p will also divide y. It means I can write y is divisible by 5. Fine. So here what is happening? Two things are coming. X is divisible by 5. Y is also divisible by 5. Means x and y is having one common factor as 5. But what we have assumed? We have assumed that we have said that x and y are co-primes. But this is coming wrong. X and y are not co-prime. They are having one common factor, that is 5. So why it is coming wrong? Because our assumption is wrong. Our assumption that root 5 is a rational number is wrong. So we will say that root 5, our assumption is wrong. So root 5 is a irrational number. Okay. Now in question number 2, we have to again prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So what we will do, we will again assume, what we will assume? That 3 plus 2 root 5 is a rational number. Fine. So if it is a rational number, you can write it in p by q form. You can write it in x by y form, where x and y are co-prime. They are not having any common factor. What I will do now, I will write it as 2 root 5 is equal to x upon y minus 3. Or again I can say that root 5 is 2 times x upon y minus 3 upon 1. So x upon y is a fraction. This is also a fraction. When you will subtract two fractions, again you will get some fraction. And when you will multiply it with 2, again you will get some fraction. So it means root 5 will be in the form of the fraction, or it will be in the form of p by q. P by q is a fraction, right? So it means that we are saying that root 5 can be written in the form p by q. So we will say that root 5 is a rational number, right? Because I can write it in p by q form. But what I know is, if in the square root, if any number is prime, it is a irrational number. It is a irrational number. But what I am getting is that root 5 is a rational number. But actually I know that it is a irrational. So this is contradicting my statement. So my assumption is wrong. What I have assumed that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational, my assumption is wrong. So it means 3 plus 2 root 5 is a irrational number. So now question number 3 part 1. Prove that 1 upon root 2 is irrational number. So in the same way we will do, first we will assume that 1 upon root 2 is a rational number. So if it is a rational number, it can be written in p by q form, right, where x and y will be co-prime because they are not having any common factor. So if I will reverse this, what I will get? Root 2 is equal to y upon x. So since I can write root 2 in p by q form, so I can say that it is a rational number because I can write root 2 in p by q form. So I can say that it is a rational number. But what I know is, whenever in the square root, if you are having any prime number, it is irrational. 2 is a prime number. It is inside the square root. So it is an irrational number. It is not a rational number. So what I know is root 2 is an irrational number. But what I am getting root 2 in p by q form. It is a rational number. So this is contradicting. So if it is contradicting, it means my assumption is wrong. What I have assumed that 1 upon root 2 is rational, it is wrong. So I can say that 1 upon root 2 is a irrational number. So now in question number 3, second part, we have to prove that 7 root 5 is a irrational number. Again we will assume that 7 root 5 is a rational number. So if it is a rational number, it can be written in p by q form, where p and q are co-prime. So I can say that root 5 is equal to p upon 7 will come here, 7q, right? So since root 5, I can write it in P upon Q form. I can say that it is a rational number. Since I can write root 5 in P by Q form, I can say that it is a rational number. But in this exercise, what we have done, we have already proved that root 5 is not rational, it is irrational. It is irrational. So this is contradictory, right? Here I am saying root 5 is rational and I already know that root 5 is irrational. So since it is contradictory, so it means that my assumption is not correct. My assumption that 7 root 5 is a rational number, it is not correct. 7 root 5 is irrational number. Question of today's exercise, prove that 6 plus root 2 is an irrational number. So again we will assume that 6 plus root 2 is a rational number. So if it is a rational number, I can write it in form of P by Q or x upon y, where P and Q are co-prime. P and Q are co-prime. They are not having any common factor. So what I can do now, I can take root 2 here only and I will shift 6 to the right side. So when I will take the LCM, it will be P minus 6Q upon Q. So this value, again this value will give me some integer. So suppose it is giving me integer as x upon Q. So since I can write my root 2 in P by Q form, it means root 2 is a rational number. But what I already know is root 2 is a irrational number. So this is contradictory, right? Here I am proving that root 2 is rational and I already know that root 2 is irrational. So why this contradiction is coming? Because our assumption is not correct that 6 plus root 2 is rational. So I can say that since my assumption is incorrect, it means 6 plus root 2 is an irrational number. So this completes exercise 1.3. In the next class, we will go to exercise 1.4.